What up, players? It's Warboss up in this mud. Check it out, I got Batman. This is a Warboss painting tutorial on how you can paint a winged vampire lord for Games Workshop's Warhammer Fantasy's Vampire Counts range. And I take you step by step through how I painted the model and the colors that I used, as well as just some general Warboss insight on the model itself and all of that good stuff. So thanks for tuning in. I hope you enjoy the Warboss tutorial. I didn't start off the model in white, but that's what I did in the first step. So the next clip we're going to jump to is actually when the base coats are all applied. So I'm just going to tell you right now that the first thing I did after assembling the model was I spray primed it in white, and that's so that all of these lighter colors will pop more than if I had spray painted it in black. And yeah, so we'll jump ahead to where the base coats are all on, and I'll explain step by step which colors I used for each part. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave me some comments and likes and all of that good stuff before you go. And if you don't, then this is what you're gonna see. A very sad vampire. Leave me a comment. Tell me I'm pretty. Okay, so after the primer base coat, primer undercoat, I've got my base coats down now. So let me tell you what I did. After starting with the pure white model, I first did the armor in Mechrite red. I did the base at the same time just to get it out of the way. I did Khemri brown, and I'm slowly going to be painting the bones up in Deneb stone. But for the actual model, I started with the Mechrite red. I started bottom up. And for the chainmail, and I actually painted bolt gun metal. And then I used Caridin granite because it's not as pitch black as Chaos Black for the cape, as well as for the inside of the cape and the leather belts, and straps. It's a heavy model. It's all metal. I wonder if they're gonna do it in fine cast. But yeah, the bondage S&M straps on his chest I painted in Caridin granite along with the belt. I did not shiny gold, but dwarf bronze actually for the belt buckle. Calthin brown for the pouch. And then Caridin granite for all of the bones between the membranes of the wings. And then I did Talarn flesh for the wings. It's the only model, or only area of the model to have Talarn flesh. I repeated Calthin brown, the same color I used for the pouch on the fur. And then, I started with Caridin granite for this little bat creature, but then I decided that it was a little too dark, so I dry brushed it with Adeptus Battle Gray, and then I'm just going to keep going progressively lighter so it doesn't look like a part of his cloak, but as an actual separate thing. Because I didn't even know, when you look at this model on the GW website, you don't even see it because you're looking at it straight on, but yeah, it's a pretty substantive piece of this model when you actually look at it from a side view. And then I did all the bone areas, like this spinal column jutting out of his back, the bones on his armor, he's got some bone pieces on his leg, and his body, his entire flesh tone with Deneb stone. I also painted Dwarven bronze for the wing motifs on his knee. He's got two of them on both knees, and on the GW website they actually keep it red, but I thought I wanted to make it pop a little bit, so I painted it Dwarven bronze. I also used Dwarven bronze for the rim of his shoulder plate. And yeah, those were all of my base colors. I used Warlock purple for the little tuft of fur or hair at the bottom of the sword. I used Dwarven bronze for the gold of the pommel, and I used bolt gun metal for the blade. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add my washes, and I will let you know what those are when I'm done with them. Alright, so this is what my guy looks like after some washes. I did Ogren flesh on the wings, and then I did a light glazing of Leviathan purple, and I did a little bit of a heavier outlining in the veins, and I tried to make them pretty prominent here, but I'm probably going to dull those down because they look a little bit sloppy. Leviathan purple though, the wash Leviathan purple, so it gives it a kind of bruised and sickly look. For the skin I used Ogren flesh, And then I've started highlighting back up with Deneb Stone just to see if I like the effect, and I do. So Ogren Flesh for the skin, then Badab Black for the cloak, for all the armor, for all the gold, and for the bone pieces in the armor. We're gonna give it a little bit of a different look, make it look like it's not as animated and alive as his skin, which is actually not alive because he's a vampire. But yeah, I use Badab Black for all of that stuff, and let's see if we can get it a little bit closer to see what that looks like. So the black is gonna dull down the bronze, and it's gonna give it a very old gold look that we're gonna highlight all the gold pieces up now with shining gold. So instead of going back with Dwarven Bronze, we're gonna highlight up with shining gold just on the edges where the light would normally hit it. We're going to highlight up the armor with Blood Red and Mechrite Red mixed up together. So we're not going straight Mechrite Red, we're going to use a mixture of Blood Red and Mechrite Red. And then we're gonna highlight up the skin with Deneb Stone. As you can see, I painted his eyeballs in, like he's looking down like, what is that over there? That looks delicious. I'm gonna wave my giant wing at it. And yeah, so the washes for the wings are really easy. Just Ogren Flesh over the entire wing, then water down some Leviathan Purple and spread that out. There are natural, or not natural, but molded into the wings are these recesses that the Leviathan Purple fits really nicely into. It makes it look really dark and bruised and sickly. Badab Black, like I said, for the fur, for the gold. This is kind of what it looks like at the bottom. So I'm going to highlight up the armor now with the mixture of Blood Red and Mechrite Red. Finish highlighting up the skin and do the metallics. And then we'll show you what that looks like in just a little bit. Oh, that looks delicious. I think I'm going to have some of that for breakfast. Alright, so I've been re-highlighting up, and I've also picked out a couple more details, like for this bat creature on our vampire's shoulder. I saw that he has little bones at the tips of his wings, so I painted those in Deneb Stone. I gave him a tongue with Scab Red, and I gave him teeth. I'm also going to paint in his eyes. I might then do them in a yellow or a red. Except I don't know about red because he's got a red tongue, so just to offset it, yeah, I think I'm gonna go with yellow. Bright yellow, like a golden yellow or a sunburst. I dry brushed him up with Codex Gray and then Fortress Gray. And let's see, what else did I do? I highlighted the cloak up a little bit with Fortress Gray, and then I washed it with Badab Black to tie the colors in so it doesn't pop as prominently. And I did up the base. The great thing about the molded base is it's got all these bones and skeletons and stuff, so I did all of those in Deneb Stone, and then I washed with Badab Black, and then I did a dry brush after of Deneb Stone. And then I dry brushed the rock. First I painted it at this Battle Gray, and then I dry brushed it in Codex Gray and Fortress Gray. Really lightly. I did a little bloody effect to the bottom of the bag to make it look like it's holding something bloody. And I did that with some watered down scorched brown and red gore, fittingly enough. And then I gave my vampire one more light coat of Ogren Flesh because it gives a little bit of a shine, and with his big bald head, the Ogren Flesh really ties in the colors and the shadows and gives it a nice shine. And yeah, I'm really happy with the way the eyes turned out. I also painted these little pieces of parchment in bleached bone, and then I used some watered down Adeptus Battle Gray for the writing on that. And yeah, and then I did some watered down Mithril Silver, and I painted, as you can see, where I would think the light would shine off of the gold to give the effect that no matter where you are looking at the gold pieces of the model from, it looks like there is light reflecting, off of certain areas like the hilt of the sword and whatnot, but I think it comes out really well on the front piece of the shoulder plate, where I colored the center of the bottom right there in mithril silver, and it just blends in really well. So there you go. I'm gonna finish the base back up. I'm probably gonna do it like the rest of my Vampire Counts models in gray and a bunch of different grays, and then I'll add in some scorched grass, and then we will finish the model up in the next part of the video. And there you have it, players. The Winged Vampire Lord. Finished basing him up. I gave him some blazing orange highlights on his armor plates. You can't see them too much. They're not too prominent, but they're just to break up the reds a little bit. Let's see if we can get in a little bit closer to check that out. Yeah, but they blend in really well with the blood red, and they provide just a little bit of a variation to the tone, especially on the edge highlights. It's also a technique I use with my Blood Angels when doing their red armor. I use blazing orange as an edge highlight, and it's really effective, comes out really well looking. Yeah, so there, I think that was the only other thing that I did. I'm just about finished with this model now, and I hope you've enjoyed this painting War Boss tutorial. Too bad I didn't make it in time to get this guy in with the other Spookytoberfest models, but it was a lot of fun to do. So I hope you liked it, and we'll see you in the next one.